That's right. Daddy changed the world.
Wait, we don't. He did what?
That changed the world.
Daddy changed the world.
What's up, everybody? It's your auntie favorite play nephew, Scoop, aka Scoop 2 times, and I'm sitting here with the legal drug dealer, Nelly. Say what's up to the people.
What's up?
Also, sitting here with us today is the expert in all things LGBT, the strap queen, our alt-white friend, LoLo. Say what's up to the people.
What's up?
Oh, man, I had to throw that in there. Anyway, what y'all been up to? How have you been?
Yeah, same, stressed.
Anything fun happening before we get into all the deep details and, extra stuff this episode?
Nothing fun at all, you guys.
Nothing fun happening at all.
I mean, before all this, race stuff came out, I got a cover-up tattoo. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
Look,
that was cool.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna post it. If you own YouTube, you're gonna see this. Devon, you trash for putting that on my arm. That's all I'm gonna say.
Big trash.
You big trash. If I see you today, I might have to swing on you.
Wait, what was that exactly?
Bro, I don't even remember no more. I wish I had the original from when I got up out the chair and I saw it. I was like, nigga, you could have stopped a long time ago because these two things are not the same.
No.
I don't even remember you showing me the sketch or anything before you got it.
I do remember this. The sketch compared to the tattoo was almost if you looked at the picture and then you had the tattoo it blindfolded because them shits did not look the same. Anywho, but that's not important. So obviously
we won't go there.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. Anyway, obviously there's more important things at hand. I was gonna bring up Doja Cat, but that's irrelevant now.
Ugh.
I was gonna bring up Joe Biden.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
That's irrelevant now. Then I was gonna talk about some other Karens going crazy. That's irrelevant now. But now, the only thing that's relevant for this past week has been the killing of our man George Floyd in Minnesota, and everybody, protesting. I ain't gonna say going crazy, but protesting, looting, rioting in all 50 states. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
And
it's
in other
needed.
parts of the world, which is wild.
Yeah.
Paris, UK,
New Zealand.
Syria. You know how bad it got to be for Syria to be drawn and protesting, and it's literally rebel like where they were drawn at.
Japan also was protesting.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. that just goes to show how big of a problem it is.
Look, Lola was out there protesting. She was out there with the people marching.
Yeah, how did that go?
Yeah.
Tell
How
us
did that
what
go?
you saw and what you thought was a good thing and what you thought were like negative things, or what you thought, if you think you saw people taking advantage of the situation or what.
Honestly, I went out, what was it, Sunday night, and honestly, everybody was really chill and, just like spreading the message. Like, I was actually surprised at how many people were there and how many people were supporting, the cause, like what, everything. And then I didn't see anybody who was talking bad about, what we were doing or acting out negatively. Like, everything was super peaceful and like really like emotional. And, some of the people who were speaking were even talking about like our mayor here and how when they addressed him and told him things that were bothering them, he walked away from them. And I was like,
What?
fuck you. Yeah, like this girl was talking and she said that she brought it up to him and he literally walked away from her. And she was
Wow.
like, you're just not going to address that? And so that gave me like a whole new light on that guy. I was like, wow, you fucking suck. And then, I don't know, it was really nice and great. The cops were definitely on one watching us. We got followed. They were like staring us down the whole time. And, everybody left and stuff. And then, people came out after us and then just destroyed the city. But I don't think that they were in a right place, because they weren't even there. It was just like random ass white people who just showed the fuck out at the end of the night and just decided to do a bunch of crazy
The
shit. I'm like,
police.
first of all, yeah, exactly.
Wow. And that there's so much to
The government.
unpack there, but
Literally.
I would say how many people of color did you see compared to white people at the protest? I'm just curious.
I saw quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like quite a few.
Quite a few people, like people of color
I
that
mean,
weren't black, or like a lot of black
no,
people, a
I
lot
mean
of
there
white
was
people.
there was a lot of black people, a lot of like Hispanic people, and then a lot of white people. I mean, I don't know. There was just like so many people, you guys. Like there was like 1,000 something people
Wow.
downtown on this street where we were at. And, at times it was hard to like see because I'm like 4'5". I'm like a foot tall, so I can't even see
Four,
or
five.
like anybody. So, I mean, there
Who
was
did
just
you
like
go with?
I went with my brother and his friends.
Oh
Hey,
wow.
shout out to Tubbs.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to Nikki.
Right.
I know, Tubbs. He's
I
the realest with me.
I would like to go protest and all, but then like
And all.
and that's when
I
you know
know.
somebody finna hit you with
Right.
the that's and all is like the excuse version instead of saying but my thing was I'm like bruh, I would go, but then I wasn't like hearing much for where I live at, and I don't really know a lot of people in Colorado Springs or whatever. And so I was like,
Right.
well, I don't really know. Haven't heard anything. And you kind of can't just drive around and just all of a sudden you find a random group because Colorado is so huge. But then on the news,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, oh, protesters ran over with a car. Like, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, you can't even
Yeah,
go,
that was crazy.
you can't even go out there peacefully and just protest. Because they haven't been violent
No.
here, because Denver is really not a violent place to live. But it's just like, bro, you can't even be out there quietly protesting and being peaceful about it before people run you over with the car. Like, that's nuts to me.
From what I've heard from protesters that were in Denver, they were saying that it was peaceful until the cops obviously were being provoking the people in the front. And then things took a turn, and then that's when, and then obviously you have opportunists that show up just because they want to loot or they want to riot or they just want to get out their, I don't know, aggression. And
Right.
so from what I heard, they had like 5 hours of peaceful protest from someone that I know who was there. And then as soon as like the cops showed up and other looters and like people who were rioting showed up, that's when things started to turn. And they were saying that the cops were provoking them, which I'm sure they were.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, Denver police officers are kind of fucking scary as shit. I mean, just like here, you could be homeless and just fucking trying to sleep in the mountains, and the cops have shot people for that too here. Like,
There was a cop that got fired today in Denver.
Where?
In Denver, he posted on his Instagram with like 2 other cops in the picture, but it was his Instagram, and he posted like "Let's start a riot," like for the caption, and they were like, "Yeah, get your ass out of here," which is good. Even if it was a song lyric, I don't care. It's the fact that like, bro, you can't be that insensitive to what's going on, where you're like, supposed to be the quote unquote peacekeepers, which isn't true, but you can't be out there talking, "Let's start a riot," and thinking that shit's funny. Like, that's not okay.
Well, I just feel like that's just shut the fuck up. Like, just be quiet, okay? Like, you don't need to start that because you know what you're doing. You're instigating shit. You know what role you play.
Right.
Come on. That's just obvious.
And it's just, I'm seeing now so much of, like, how many things they do behind the scenes that people don't know about. Like, obviously, we all know that police and, cops are corrupt. Obviously, not all, but a big majority. Yeah. And we know that because we know how the police was founded and what their roots are in and the way that they displayed with the earlier protests last month with all those people with the
haircuts on.
Yeah, like that. Oh, they wanted to be free, quote unquote free, because of the virus, and they were on quarantine. We saw how the police reacted then versus now.
Yeah, especially
so we know kind of what's going on, but I feel like especially Twitter has like brought out so much stuff of what the police has been doing behind the scenes. Whether it's people overhearing how they're talking about how they wanted to shoot protesters and like just all the dirty, grimy stuff that's usually behind the scenes is coming out in a lot of ways because people are having interactions with the police. And so they're posting pictures about how they're being mistreated, and even white people now. So I think that's what's really bringing awareness to everything, is because white people are now seeing it for themselves, because they're actually getting out and protesting, and they're actually being out, marching and seeing what it's like, and they know that it's not a lie now. Right. Which is kind of like Ken was saying earlier, it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, y'all should have been with us from the beginning, but like, I'm not going to complain because I'm seeing change. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it sucks, but now that something is happening and that people are seeing the truth, I'm just hoping that everybody's going to stick with it,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just going back to, like why this all started. Like, I was telling her earlier, like, it's not fair that a man gets kneeled on for 8 minutes and some change, or 9 minutes, and then the state-funded autopsy, they say, oh, well, he had some underlying health concerns, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like they expect people not to go the extra mile. But then, props to the family for getting their own autopsy done. And they were saying, like, he had good arteries, like, he was fine, like, he was a healthy man, so to say. And for y'all to be like, oh, he had health issues that could have, no, y'all choked that man out. Like, that's just not fair.
To show you how all this stuff is systemic. Like, nothing that's state funded or government supplied is good. Like, let's just be honest. No. You get a lawyer that's from the DA.
They don't care.
They just trying to get you in and out because they're so overloaded, they're overworked. Like, anything that you get from the government that's supplied to you, they do a half-ass job. And it's probably because a lot of them are underfunded and don't have resources, and then a lot of them just don't care.
They don't get paid enough to care either. Like, it's just so jacked up, because you get a defense attorney, and he's like, bruh, I got 12 other cases of people who are locked up right now. You just finna be added to the bottom of the list. I need to get you on a plea deal. Just say you'll take 7. Say you'll take 12.
Yeah.
When it's like, bruh.
Just like wasting people's lives.
Exactly. Like, it's just not fair at all.
No, it's not.
No. So,
I hate it.
Here's the thing, though. I know there's, like, we already know, like, the police are out there, like, inciting violence. But I feel like what's not being talked about enough, even in a fair way, that even though there's police out there, they're not doing anything about the other people who are, like, also causing harm to people out there. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's other racial protests out there who are trying to incite violence, and it's like, instead of like nip it in the butt when they see it, it's like they want that to happen just so they have a reason to shoot the rubber bullets at your face, or choke you out, or handcuff you and put you in jail with everybody else and lock you up just to get some money for bond. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I was online today and I heard a New York cop, he was like over the radio, and he was like something, and he goes, shoot those motherfuckers. Oh wait, don't put that over the air. And I'm like, bruh, how insensitive do you have to be to, like, joke? Like, you can't even joke like that. Like, you should not, like, this is not the time for people to be joking about shooting people, about arresting people, about beating people up. Like, people who say they have a dark sense of humor, they're usually either just racist or sexist. So even if you say, oh, it's just a dark sense of humor, no, you're just a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I was listening to the podcast with Sean King, and he was talking about how people make, like, these cops are making decisions based off of their values. They literally do not see black people as human, and that's why they're okay with killing them. That's why they're okay with ignoring this stuff. That's why they're okay with all the shit that's going on, because they literally do not value black people as people. Because if they did, they would never allow these things to happen. And that's just, like, the most, like, fucked up thing about it, because it's like, at the bottom line, that's what it is. Because if you would have valued this person as a brother, as a father, as a son, you would never allow that to happen, including the officers who were standing watching this shit happen and didn't jump in.
Exactly.
Like,
and then, you know what makes me mad too is that I recently had to delete somebody that but her husband, boyfriend, whatever, is a police officer. And she was posting all of these things like, oh, I need him to be safe, so, like, get it together, and all of you need to stop protesting, and blah, 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 blah. Well, one of the ladies that worked at this cosmetology school I went to was like, "Oh, you feel scared? Now you know how people of color feel every day of their lives." And she was like, "I'm glad you were scared." And that girl was pissed. And she's like, "How are you going to say that I need to be scared? And how is that good?" And I'm like, "Did you not read what she just said to you? Like the way you feel is how people feel when they just get pulled over for a traffic ticket. Their lives are in
Yes.
danger. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They have to fucking sit there and act like, they can't even reach for their wallet. They have to ask, like, "Hey,
Preach.
sir, I'm reaching for my wallet?" Because in that moment where we as white people just can reach for our shit and nothing happens to us, like, that's
Yeah.
just like not a second thought to us. And it has to be for people. And it sucks. And I'm like, did you not listen to the message, bitch? You
It's
obviously didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
ridiculous.
oh,
Like I didn't tell Nelly this the other day, but I was driving and I think I was going to my son's school to pick up, like, the end of the year stuff, like their shoes and stuff from gym class and little gifts the
okay.
teachers give out and all that stuff. And I was driving, and you know how like you go over a hill, and as soon as you go over that top, you like drop and you pick up speed. Well, I was
Mm-hmm.
picking up speed as I dropped, and there was like a white pickup out here, which for us that's like the police out here. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm about to get pulled over. Cause then as I passed them, the person pulled out and they were driving behind me, and it sucks that like I got scared because my kids are in the car.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have to feel that way. And then the second thing
No.
was like I don't know, like in my head, I don't feel like I should have had to like go through the thought process. Okay, like where's my license and registration? Okay, where's my
Yeah.
like I
You
had
play out the whole scenario before anything even happens because you're so afraid that you don't know what's gonna happen.
yes. And especially
Exactly.
where we live at, we're out in like in the sticks, so it's kind of like I'm probably one out of 7 black people out here.
Right.
So literally, like as I was driving, I was like, okay, well I can't pull over right here, no way. So I got time to kind of drive, get to a comfortable spot, and also I'm like I got my wallet out, I took my license out, and I stuck it on the dashboard, like just to be safe. Which even like sucks to feel that way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel good.
No. And it sucks. Like, even myself, like, I've never ever experienced that ever in my whole life. Like, I've gotten out of traffic tickets. I've done so many shit. I've ran from the cops before and they've never done shit to me. And when I was younger, I was like, "Oh my God, like ha ha ha." But now I'm like, that's not funny. Like, that's proof right there to me to show that like the color of my skin makes a difference. And
Yeah.
like I could get away with shit, and that's fucked up and it shouldn't be that way. And
Yeah.
like I hate that other people do not see that. And they're like, "No, they just shouldn't." I'm like, "No, think about
And
it.
it's just
Think
like
about your past."
that's why it's so outrageous when people like try to say that people need to comply. Like
Mhm.
if you would only see that most of these interactions, or I guess for those people, not you specifically, if they would only
Oh yeah.
see how, like Ken was explaining, you play out the entire scenario in your head before it even happens just because you see a car that might be the cops because you're so terrified that something can happen to you. And it's like, people
Exactly.
are like, oh, if you would just comply. Like, bro, I have this whole situation played out, and there's not, you can't comply so much to the point where it saves your life. You just can't. Because some of these
Yeah.
cops,
They don't
they're
care.
They'll
afraid.
fucking
Like,
yeah.
No, they're not
either,
afraid.
some of them are.
Some of
Some
them
of them are
are.
afraid, and they don't even know, they're like shaking by the time they get to you. Because they
Mhm.
assume, it's part of being racist. They assume that you're an animal or something, that you're gonna fucking kill them, that
Exactly.
you're a criminal, that you're set out to kill them, which is just fucking ridiculous. But some of them are shaking by the time they even get to you.
Yeah.
Hand on their gun, like,
Or
Mhm.
drawn.
or drawn already for a traffic violation, or not even for that. Sometimes just be to pull you over just for shits and giggles, like.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. So that the fact that people trying to make that statement, oh, if you're just compliant, if you just, like, bro, you know how many white
No.
people buck up to the cops on a daily basis and nothing
Yeah,
happens
and
to them? Like, they'll straight
exactly.
up cuss them out, throw shit at them, everything. And the most they'll get is arrested.
Oh yeah. I was
Exactly.
online today before we recorded. I was online. I was scrolling on Twitter, and it was like, oh, like people are with the shits or whatever. Like people are really standing up to the police, and it was a white guy and the police, and they were squaring up to fight each other. And the quote of the tweet was like, "Squaring up is a privilege in itself." And it's like it's just so crazy that, like you said, the color of your skin gives people other chances that other people don't get. Like I saw a video again, I think it was last year, or the year before last, where a guy had his phone out recording, and when he was recording, the police had already pulled their gun out before he even got to the car and asked the guy's name.
Well,
You see what I'm saying? Like
well,
you can't even can't even say, "Hey, why you pull me over?" And he already had his gun pulled out, and he's like, "Bro, you chose a scary ass job, so it's up to you to be brave. Like, don't expect me to be the one to tell you how to do your job. Like, you can't be scary as hell and want to be a cop. Like, that's not how that works."
exactly. It's not. Like, that's your job. Fucking own up, dude. I hate people. And I hate it too because so many fucking people like don't get it. And like they're just like, no, no. And I'm like, you really don't see it. How do you really have the wool pulled over your fucking racist ass eyes? Like, take that shit off. Like,
Racist eyes.
I know.
you guys, I'm telling you, like, I can't.
It's
It
It's
so
just opened
true.
my eyes to like so many people, and I'm just like, wow, I never realized that so many of my friends felt this way, and now we're not friends.
Yeah, it's like a weird time that we live in because like I saw you posted earlier. It's like, bruh, you don't even have to ask questions anymore about like why we're doing what we do, or like why are you guys upset? It's like, bruh, you can research. Like every person I know that is
How
white
can I do
or
more?
whatever, it's like, why are
Yeah.
you guys mad? I'm like,
Oh
bruh,
my
you know how many
god.
hashtags that your friends have posted about people who have passed away? Like, you know this, and you know we don't know them personally if everybody in the world is talking about it and on the news they're talking about it. And it's like, I know your racist family members were saying, "Oh, well, that cop's going to get off because he felt like he was in danger." No, like, bro, you know what's going on. You're choosing to be ignorant, and the fact that like you're asking other people what should you do, is like, we have Google, we have Yahoo. You probably could still use Bing right now if you wanted to. Ask
Fucking
Jeeves if you
Bing.
probably wanted to get
Ask
information.
Jeeves,
And the
not
fact that
Jeeves.
like you have Twitter. Twitter is like a non-stop social media news cycle all the time. You could get so much information off of there.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are like, well, what should I do? What can I do?
Oh my
Bruh,
God.
get
Yeah.
active, be involved, Google, research on your own. It shouldn't take
Exactly.
people breaking windows in stores and protesting in the streets and screaming for you to be like, oh, I think I get it now. Like, it should not take all that.
Well,
There's so much
yeah,
accessible at our fingertips that it's just an excuse at this point. Like, you don't need to go to
exactly.
your nearest person of color or friend who's
Yes.
black to ask them what to do. Like, come on.
Yeah, like how are you
We
gonna do that?
literally
It's
have
not
the
their
internet.
job.
If you can figure out how to do things by looking up on YouTube, you can easily figure out how to Google something. You can go to the Black Lives Matter page and see what kind of
Donate.
resources there are. Like, it's just so easy these days that I'm just like, that's a cop out.
And you
100%.
know what? Yeah, and it makes me mad too because then I see these people and they're like, "What can I do?" And they post like one thing. And I'm like, "That's what you're doing?" Like, no, post more, sweetie. Post the reality of it. Keep going. Like,
Please.
what are you doing? Like, how can I do this? Or then, they're selling shit for their own personal gain to
I
make themselves
know.
look good and they don't even give a shit about the anything.
I
Like, what are you doing? Are you going to donate that money?
I
Probably
know.
not.
See, I
It's
want
just
a
going to go
Black
into your
Lives Matters
pocket.
T-shirt, but I'm like, I'm scared if I buy one, it's not gonna go to the right people. Like, it's gonna go to somebody who's like, I don't care. I just want to take them black people money anyway. So I'm gonna make a Black Lives Matter T-shirt, put it on eBay, Etsy, whatever, make that money and pocket it, even though I don't give a damn about what they're going through. So it's like, I want to buy one, I don't know where to get one from, and that kind of makes me mad because I really want one. But Nelly said it the best, to get back on topic. She said, like, if your like political like protest is just an Instagram post, if you post in a black square and that's where it starts and ends at, then you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Like,
agree.
the whole point of this was to keep continually posting resources, how you can help, petitions, donations, like you were saying. Like, it doesn't stop here. Like, it is continually. Like, it should keep going, and you should always be sharing things like this. It's not going to end after today. And I
No, it's
have to
not.
appreciate my friends who are in the LGBTQIA community because they've been posting a lot of like, okay, Pride's cool, but we're doing this right now. And I really appreciate that.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how you be an ally. That's how you set aside your own selfish, ways to, be a part of something, be a part of a movement, something that's important. And I really appreciate that because I feel like there's some people who are taking this opportunity to bring awareness to other like causes and everything, which we should all be on board on. But this is something that is happening right now, and we know how quickly things can change in the media and things shift in the news very quickly. And tomorrow, this could be, not a headline anymore. And
Or
if
to be
that
another
happens,
name.
Exactly.
if people decide to stop protesting and to just go back to their regular scheduled programs, then this all gets swept under the rug, just like every other, Black life who
Time.
was killed in the past year, in the past 5 years, in the past 10 years. And we can't
Right.
let that happen anymore. It's just not, it's not fair, and
Yeah,
it's not right.
okay.
No.
So it
Plus,
has
like,
to be continuous.
exactly. It has to be. And also, like, the whole reason we have Pride Month is because people rioted, people protested, so we could have that. So why not do the same thing for what matters? Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, and plus all this kind of goes together. It's not like there's not Black people involved in the LGBT. I don't want to be disrespectful and mess with the acronym, so I'm gonna stop there. But like,
No.
hey, I'm
good.
trying to be respectful
You
because
tried.
people be like
No.
LGBT, elemental QPR, like that's just ridiculous. Like I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
do all
God.
that. So I'm like the LGBT plus community is like there's Black people in that community as well. It's not like it's
Well,
just
the
like
Black people in the community were the people who fucking made change for the most part, if you want to be.
very
They
true.
were out there. Some of the first people, so
I mean, the only
sorry,
people
kid.
I really like know that are big in that community is RuPaul, and that don't even count. So we're not even gonna do that. That's a topic for another
Okay,
day.
we're gonna give RuPaul his coins, but not that
We give him his
much.
credit. We give him his credit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna give him his credit. No, but it's ridiculous. Like I had a guy reach out to me, and at first I was like, I don't know how to feel, but then I waited and I reread the message, right? And the message it was like, hey, it's been a while since we've talked because we've always been Facebook friends for a while, and he, nice Christian guy, whatever. And he was like, hey man, like it's been a while. I just wanted to, see how you're doing and see how your heart is. And I was like, like I'm good, just standing there fighting a good fight, whatever. And he was like, I just want you to know that like I'm with you and standing with you completely and stuff like that. And I was like, even if he just copied and pasted those two messages to everybody who's Black that he knows, I'm like, I can't be mad because I see him actively posting on his like social medias, but the fact that he even took the time out to go through and like check on people, I'm like, I can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous, but also I do got my eyes out on everybody who ain't posted shit, who I do see usually posting. So if I usually
Yeah.
see you posting and you ain't posted nothing, I'm definitely finna go through my Facebook friends probably in the next couple of days. It in
We are
6 more
purging
days,
you.
in 2 weeks, if you ain't posted nothing in 2 weeks, just in general, hey,
Nah.
you still might get the boot just for the simple fact that you know what's going on and you could have
You
took
shall be purged.
you could have took 5 minutes to download Facebook and post something. You definitely finna be purged.
No,
It's
if they
just
don't post
like,
something tomorrow,
how do
just
you
cut them
not
loose.
see this happening and not say anything? And I just really don't understand the people who are like, yeah, I agree, like I'm with it, but then they literally are quiet, like they haven't done anything.
And
How
they
can you
don't
see
do
this
shit.
and not be outraged? And then other
Because they're.
people who, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, you're good. I was cutting you off too.
But other people who are like, oh, they'll post like the cops kneeling, and it's like, yay, like there's unity, there's peace. Like, okay, props to the cops that actually quit their job. Let's talk about them.
I know.
Let's talk about the police who actually quit their their actual job to stand on the front lines and stand for something and realize that they're part of a system that is so corrupt that it's not going to change overnight. And so they're like, you know what, let me flip the script and actually be an activist. Let me, believe in something and do something right. Those are the people we should be cheering for, not somebody who's performative, kneeling for an Instagram post. And then literally there was cops who turned around and was tear gassing everybody after that.
Right. Like,
Exactly.
I'm
Like,
not. Go ahead. Sorry,
you
I didn't
can't
cut you
believe
off.
everything you see on social media, and we know
Right.
that just by looking at influencers. Like,
Oh
their
my
pages are
gosh.
all, everything's been,
Fuck them.
everything's been, like rainbows and butterflies on influencers' pages, but then we actually find out who they really are. Like, same thing with these cop posts, and I'm not saying all of them are bad, obviously, we know that, but you can't believe everything you see, because
Right.
then we saw later on that, they were setting up bricks, like on the side of the road, just like pallets of bricks that all of a sudden, were planted there so that they could say people are rioting and destroying things. So it's just ridiculous.
Like,
It is.
just bouncing off what she said, I'm like, okay, this is not even like, this is just my preference. I only follow pretty much black people that like I can actually I actively see like doing stuff in the community. You see what I'm saying? Like whether it be YouTube, whether it be Instagram. Like I don't follow any of these like, oh, I moved to LA to be an influencer and I'm going to go out to the riots and take a picture with a tool and then get back in my Mercedes Benz and pull off, or get back in my Tesla and just leave, just so I could take a picture in front of a broken T-Mobile store. Like like that doesn't make sense to me. So it's the fact that like people are really like eating that stuff up. That, oh, they posted a picture, like, oh, they're out there putting in work. No, they're not doing anything. They're just there for a photo op and just to keep it moving.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I can't believe people are doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, and they are.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But like even just like shine a light on the people who are like actually like taking a stand against something. Like I'm not gonna get an NFL no credit because they didn't sign. They kicked Kaepernick out pretty much for kneeling peacefully, and then all of a sudden they're like, "We're
We trying
standing
to go
with you
back.
guys right
Yeah.
now, and
Oh my
we're
God.
with the community and blah 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 blah." I'm like, bro, y'all can say that because when Cap tried to kneel, y'all made it about the military. So I don't want to hear y'all. I don't hear y'all apology and talking about it now because y'all could have been asked that man. But then like going to
Exactly.
where like Sony and like Xbox, like they were supposed to unveil new game systems, but they was like, look, right now this ain't the time. Like we can talk about games 4 months from now, but it's more important voices being out there right now. Like I can respect that. Reebok, they posted on their site, our company would be nothing without black people. Like they didn't sign Allen Iverson to a shoe deal, one of the most famous NBA players, for them to not speak up. Like you can't keep supporting these companies who don't say anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I just don't understand those people or like companies or influencers or whoever who are like, oh, well, we shouldn't see color. Human race is the only race. And I'm like, bro, that's the wrong
Oh
time for you
my
to be trying to say
God.
that. It really is. That is so tone deaf of you. Like, that's just like that damn.
All lives matter.
And the freaking Jenner, whoever girl who did that Pepsi commercial. Like, bro.
Oh my God. Kendall Jenner.
When the world needed
It's
her
just
most,
like
she
you
vanished.
really tried it. You really did. And that's the wrong
They were like,
time.
here's your Pepsi.
Yeah.
Racism is over.
It's just basically like, let's put a band-aid on all this. Like, y'all are just doing the most. We're all one. Why does it matter? And then try to act like systematic racism is not a real thing. Like, it's not something that people are battling every single day. It's
Exactly.
just like, this is life or death. This is not, oh, I feel this way. It's my opinion. Like, this is literally people dying. These are people's lives. And it's not that easy. Like, it's not that easily bandaged and put away. So that's really frustrating.
I hate people. Because you know damn well that if white people were in the other shoe was on the other foot, we would never hear the end of it. Those motherfucking
Absolutely.
Karens, they would never stop.
But here's the thing, though. People have tried to like speak up about it, or like people make music videos, or like people like make like little short films about it. Like there was a series where they played music and they made a movie about that song, and it was like a movie about like what if everything was reversed, and it was about black cops who were killing white kids, and white kids lived in the ghetto, and it's like when people saw it, even black people were like, bro, that shit just looks so ridiculous because it just seems like it just doesn't even seem possible
Because it's
that
been
would
this way
happen.
for so long that it just
Literally,
doesn't
that's
even
what our country
seem.
was built on.
Yes.
Like it doesn't even seem right seeing it like that, and you're like, bruh, that's how you know it's so bad. If you switch all the roles, that if you put the shoes on the other foot and it looks so ridiculous, then that means you have a problem.
And it shows you
It's
how
like,
fucked up everything is because it shouldn't even feel normal the way it is. But it does
it's
because it's
just,
gone on for
it
so
does.
long.
The country
And
was built on it.
God, it's
Mm.
just not even right. Like it's our normal, but it's not the way things are supposed to be or should be. And it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous that these things keep happening where we keep saying hashtags where people, are being assaulted from by the police or murdered, and we're just like, wow, damn, and then we're like fucked up about it for a few days, but then everything goes back to normal because it's our normal, and it's just like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that way.
It
Like
shouldn't.
it's just ridiculous.
I really, really hope that it doesn't. I just hope that more people like come out and shit changes. I don't know how, but I really fucking hope this shit
Yeah.
does not just fucking get swept back under the rug
Yeah.
where next week everyone's just gonna be ignoring it. Like, I swear to God. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
punch people. I'm gonna punch everyone.
And just to that point, like, I just feel like everybody needs to just keep going, keep posting, keep talking about
Mm-hmm.
it, talk about it with your families. Those uncomfortable conversations that you don't want to have, like, we need to
Oh,
have
I already
them.
had them.
Yeah, we need to have them with our friends, with our
I'm
family
still pissed.
members. We're going to post some stuff on the Timeout page so that you guys can see where you can donate and call in to your
Donate.
legislators and sign petitions because it's important. So
Yeah,
we just need to keep it
I'm gonna put
going.
it all in the bio of the video, so that way, like, you could just click the drop down bar and it's all right there. It's just so
Oh, yeah.
tiring, bro. This is exhausting.
It is.
Yeah.
And like I was telling Lauren earlier, it's like if you don't look at it, you feel anxious to see what's going on. And if you do
Mm-hmm.
look at it, you just feel like, man, like this world is just fucked up. Like things are just bad. So we just
Yeah,
have
they
to
are.
find things that, spark joy
Like,
in
find a
the
way
in the
to take
midst
time
of
away.
this. But we need to also not ignore it and go back to our lives. We need to keep going and
True.
keep fighting.
That's why I'm like trying not. I see funny things. I'm like, fuck. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do
Yeah,
it.
I agree. I feel like I do see like things, but then I'm just like I can't right now. It's just everything is too dark. I need to like be a part
Yeah.
of this. I can't just
Yeah.
continue like nothing's happening.
No, I can't. I can't just like post selfies of myself like nothing happened. Like,
Right.
no, no.
Yeah, it like just the last thing I even want to say. It's so exhausting to like keep going through this and like to be scared. Like, I never thought like this feels different than any other time, but I never
Yeah.
thought like I would I would look at my my life like in a different way, in a sense, like after he passed away, like George Floyd passed away, like I look at my kids different. I just look at life completely different. Like, I want to find laughter in certain things, or I want to post something that I think is funny that may help somebody else laugh. But right now it's like, bruh, no one is happy. Like, I can't post something that's gonna make me laugh that might make somebody else laugh, because it's like we're all exhausted. Like, I don't. It's not fair that we should all have to question our mortality, especially
No,
as a black
you
person
shouldn't.
or a black man in general who has children.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't. And, you guys should be able to, like, your kids should be able to fucking walk down the street, jog down the street, walk home with fucking Skittles and be fine. They shouldn't have to fucking look behind their back and be like, oh, gotta make sure no one's watching me, make sure I'm doing this right. No, that's
Right.
not how it should fucking be. And that's like part of the reason that I was like, no, like, I have to go out, like, I have to protest, like, I have to be there because, like, I love people. I love you guys. So I would never fucking want to sit back and not speak about it
Yeah.
and not use like the voice that I have to not say anything. Like, I just don't agree with that. And I hate that so many people are okay with not saying anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
Speak
definitely
up, people.
appreciate you. We appreciate white allies, any other people of color that have been speaking out. I've been seeing some of my Asian American friends speaking out about it, and I think it's great to see that kind of unity even in this situation. So
Yeah,
Right. I just
especially
hope
around
that
our
someday it's
generation.
just a thing. Yeah, exactly.
Man. Well, long story short, all I think we can all agree on is you just got to get involved and get active and use your voice. Like, if it's on Facebook and you're talking to your racist uncle, let his ass have it. Like, if you
Right.
unfriend you and don't want to talk to you at Thanksgiving, that's fine. He will be okay. Like, I think at this point, like, you can't accept anything less than, like, the new standard that we're trying to set, which is equality for everybody, not just one race of people.
Right.
Like, we want it for everybody. So I think that's it for me. Is that it for you?
Yeah, I mean, just support Black businesses, speak out, don't be silent.
Oh yeah, look, it's,
Donate.
Yeah.
especially if you live in a certain state and you know a whole bunch of black businesses, post it in the comments. Shoot, we'll definitely take it because
Yes.
if we go on the trip, I want to eat at all black places. Like that's it.
You guys are not ready for Mr. Powdrell's. That place is fire. Oh,
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh man. Well,
uh,
look, I think that's all we got for y'all today, man. If you enjoyed today's episode, leave a comment. If you want to, give a thumbs up. Please donate to any of the links we post down below.
If you can.
If you can. If you can't, just repost it so somebody else can donate.
Yeah.
And just share it and get the information out there because they need it. And by they, I mean the world needs it. So, yeah, just share this channel. Share this with somebody you love. This is Timeout with Scoop, Nelly, and LoLo. We out.
Bye.
bye.